Hey, thanks for checking out this clip from the After Files. We're live almost every Thursday night directly after the episode premieres. So thanks for checking this out and hope to see you live next week. The Kumbrugaz UFO. Monster 1026, have you done one on Göbekli Tepe? Not specifically, Monster, because it's been covered a ton, but I've mentioned it quite a bit. 2 weeks ago I did. And don't forget Bankuklu Tarla, which is even older than Göbekli. We covered that as well. Coconut Milk premiere Gen Studio and the Backstage Files. Yeah, maybe we could do that. We were going to do like a time lapse, but it's too much work, and you'd rather just have the guys painting and working than moving cameras around. So, but when it's finished, we'll definitely show you guys. It's getting there. We're almost there. Caesar V wants a stop action plushie war. Crab Cat versus Heckle. It's the biggest cage match since Elon versus Zuck. All right, I've got a playlist of these videos here. I don't know if he has them in a specific order. If these are just the straight videos, they're going to be a little herky-jerky, but I do have this one. Let's get this queued up. I do have this one, which has all the videos, and they're stabilized, so we can get a closer look at the craft. So Kumburgaz, that's a seaside town in Turkey where over the course of like 2.5 years, this UFO kept showing up. It's been seen by multiple people, multiple times, and it's one of the craziest UFO videos that you'll ever see. This object was filmed over the shoreline. You see it out there. You can hear the guy who's filming it. I don't speak Turkish, but you can whatever he's saying, I'm sure translates to "Oh my God." No, he can't believe it. And notice the date. This is May 27th, 2008. Now, there are some potential explanations for this that I'll get into. And you know that I'm a skeptical believer. I'm an open-minded skeptic. You know, I want to believe that these things are true, but I also want them to be true. So if there's any way to debunk anything, I want to know it, because I want to know for sure that whatever that cool story is not real. It's just a story. This one has been difficult to debunk. People do try. So this is a different day. This is a couple of weeks later. That's why it looks a little different. Hey, Nathan Gibson. Michael Asylum says, I want every false story debunked. I agree. Suzanne thinks that's swamp gas. Yeah, Sean, see the raindrops. That's one of those things that people look for, that people say it could be fake, is that it's raindrops on the lens or raindrops on glass. But I don't know. These have been analyzed. And I've got an analysis that I'm going to go through with you. I just wanted to kind of set it up with the images first. This is now 6/9, June 9th. This is 4 days later. Pagan Wizard, I have hearing issues. Can you please turn CC on? There's nothing I can do about that. You have to turn on YouTube on your side. We don't control that here. I can upload closed caption afterwards, but not live. And this is the following night. And this is the night after that, June 10th. So his location has been authenticated. You know, some people have said, "Oh, he's not on the beach. You can hear this. This is not." It's been authenticated. There's that's one of the shots they actually used to authenticate it. The one you're seeing right there is people have gone to that spot and said, "No, this is where he was." That's so bright. Pulsar Echo definitely looks like a solid object. For sure it does. Melissa Ellison, say hi to the Ellison family. We appreciate it. Kaiser Swift, hard to fake in 2008. That's a good point. VFX is way different now. Paul Porter wants to email me stuff. My email is aj@takeas. Hitflix, I've seen this video. It looks eerily real. In the analysis of the footage, they look like graves. Yeah, I'm going to show you that in a little bit. There's a lot of, there's 40 minutes of this, so we're not going to go through all of it because it's repetitive. I don't want you to see the stabilized footage because then you can get a better look at the lines and a better look at the pilots. Right, so you were seeing the dates. This is just a couple of days later. Piger 2, I wish this were stabilized. Pet shakers, her pet tripods. I have the stabilized footage, Piger. We're going to get to it. Scorpiana thinks it's Kaiser Soze. Spoilers. Hey, dog, we need to realize we are not alone, so to speak. Abdul Al-Hodel, I thought this was debunked already. If it was, link me. I've seen people offer attempts to debunk it, but I haven't seen hardcore proof. Because this is seen by multiple people. Location: Sea of Marmara, Turkey. Mini DV Canon. Filmed by Murat. Okay, so this particular shot, some people have said that's just a reflection of moonlight in the lens. But hang on a second. Hang on a second. All right. That is a mini DV Canon DM-GRIA. So that's what that camera is. So could there be a reflection in that lens? Yeah, I guess there could. I guess there could. I wanted to tell the guy no, it can't be, but it could. It's the right shape lens. Let's see. 6/12. So 1 day later, 2 days later.
Gidiyor değil mi Alkan? He? Denize doğru gidiyor değil mi?
Graham Greer, have you seen the attempts to match the subject profile of a cruise ship far out near the horizon? I have seen those. And I've seen it try to get matched up with a body of water like a lake.
Baba şekil değiştiriyor. Baba ışık gidiyor bir yana. Bak.
This one's really herky-jerky. I have the stabilized footage. We will get to it. All right. Following night, 2 nights later. Sarge's Customs, Lockheed Martin for the win. Right? You know they have it. The slickness, it's triangular, it's ours. Yeah, the triangle crafts are the ones that are triangles, like, I mean, that could be a triangle there. Like when you see the V formation, that's ours. That's our craft. It's either You know, you can believe that that's anti-gravity tech that the U.S. Air Force is working on, or it's those high-altitude super light balloons that they're actually shaped like a V. But either way, it's probably Air
Direkt
Force.
hiçbir şey yok.
But this doesn't look like a V to me.
Gerçekten çok enteresan bir olay.
So this is 4 days later. Crazy stuff going on the beach. You know, so what's interesting about the lights in this is, you know, when we see the V's, we usually see them at night, right? So it's just lights and black around them. So you can't see if it's attached to anything. Here, it's pretty light out here, right? So if this were, you know, shouldn't we be seeing something behind here?
Gerçekten çok ama arar gidiyor. 2, 4, 6 tane ışık.
July 2nd. So look, I mean, you could see where whatever these are, these nodules, doesn't it look like the metal or the skin of the craft is indented where these nodules were attached? But look, when I first saw this UFO, my first reaction was, that's fake. There's no way that's real because it's too crazy. July 4th. And it's not the same ship, right? They seem close, but it's different. This one has lights on the bottom. And the one where you see the pilots, and I'll admit it's hard to see the pilots, but the one where you see the pilots looks a little bit different.
I know.
Spanky says, looks real to me. Yeah, it's crazy. Fred Red Beans, that doesn't look like a TR-3B. The TR-3B, that's the triangle craft he's talking about. No, it does not look like that. Bob Warfield, different angle. Golden Monkey thinks it's aliens. Alex asking, are we live or are we live? You tell me. Redbeard, the pilots are the best part. I agree. But, you know, I'm a broadcaster, so I'm not going to show it up front. I'm going to keep talking about it until we get there, and then you hang out and watch. Right? That's how we do it, right, Jenny? You pre-sell it, and you just keep hitting it.
That's right.
You just don't push it too hard that it gets annoying. You just, every once in a while, you go back and you sell until we get to it.
Yes.
Yes, she says. There she goes. Very agreeable tonight. All right, we've got some analysis on this that I want to go through, and then we can look at the stabilized footage. For people that are into this case, the document, everything that I pulled is all the common stuff. So if you know this story, you know everything I'm talking about tonight. I didn't bring anything new. The chat's up there. That's why. SARS, somebody put the pic of the pilots in AI and tell it to clear it up. That's interesting. I don't know if anyone's done that. And you know, honestly, I don't know if the AI is even good enough to do that because it's really blurry. And to be honest, if you didn't know, if you weren't looking for aliens, I'm not even sure you would see them. But once you start thinking about grays and you look at it, then of course it's aliens. That's my Giorgio. That's my Giorgio impression. Actually I'm going to work on doing a Giorgio impression. That would be entertaining. All right, the summary of the case. Who do we credit? Mario Valdez Santiago in Chile. This case developed in the location of the Kumburgaz between the years 2007, 2008, 2009. Its main witness was a night guard named Yalkin, who while on duty registered video of strange objects that appeared at sunrise like floating or changing while in flight over the sea on the coast of Marmara. Yaman was able to film many video segments, some during the day, accompanied by witnesses with whom he spoke to while he was filming. And we have one of those witnesses, which is Dr. Lear, is an American guy who gives a bit of a lecture on it. So I'll play that if you guys want to hear it. Lot Makos AI be like redacted. Yeah, it's, that's coming soon. Government going to get their hands on the algorithms and not let us do that stuff. One singularity of this case was that the images were made with a camera that had an adapter for close-ups of 200 times optical, achieving a great amount of detail of the objects. I think it's 20 optical. But that's cool. At first, the videos were analyzed and made public by the Serious UFO organization. That's Dr. Greer's, right? I think that's Dr. Greer's. Directed by the researcher Haktan Akdogan. This case made big news in Turkey and in other countries as well. It also started a great debate between the official members of the Turkish scientific community, specifically the National Council for the Study of Science and Technology, also known as the TUBITAK, of course, got interested in analyzing the original footage with the intention of determining that the video was nothing more than a hoax, gambling on the idea of scale models, toys, or CGI. The original tape was handed to that group on live TV at their own headquarters. Once the analysis was concluded, they gave the official report from which we took the following fragment. This is from the analysis of the group trying to debunk it. National Council for the Study of Science. The objects observed on the images have a structure made of a specific material and are definitely not any kind of CGI animation or in any means a type of special effects used for simulation in a studio or for video effects. So the conclusion of this report is that the observations are not a model, marquette, or a fraud. And the last part of the report, it's concluded that the objects observed have a physical structure and are made of materials that don't belong to any category of airplanes, helicopters, meteors, Venus, Mars, satellites, artificial lights, Chinese lanterns, etc. And that it mostly fits in the category of UFOs, unidentified flying objects, and of unknown origin. So that's the group trying to debunk it. And that was their statement. Wow. Other analysis was done by video specialists, image edition, and special effect companies from Japan, Russia, and Turkey, all ending up with the same conclusions. In Chile, I asked Professor Jose Atenas to technically examine the videos, an expert in graphics and video with more than 30 years of experience on television. In his appreciation, Jose also came to the same conclusions that the images are authentic. So far, nobody has been able to demonstrate that the recordings are a product of tricks or some kind of manipulation. Therefore, the debate has concentrated more over the nature and origin of the objects filmed by Yalkin Yalman. Let's take a look at some stabilized footage. I believe he has these in chronological order going back to the very first sighting. You seeing that? Yes. The original footage has been studied and verified as authentic by both state and private organizations in Turkey, Japan, Brazil, Chile, Russia, and the United States. There have been no official... This footage has been stabilized to clarify the objects. It has not been altered in any other way, and I think that's true. It's very dramatic. The editing is very dramatic. I like it. 4 a.m., June 22nd, 2007. Yeah, so this is the first one ever. Rob Collins thinks it's bull. Thinks it could be a model or a toy. Yeah, look how shaky that was. Kat Dean thinks it's top secret U.S. airplanes. I don't think so, man. And I really don't think they would fly those over the coastline of Turkey. They fly those here in the desert. You know, I mean, American aircraft flying around Turkey, everyone's got eyes on that, including the Russians. They don't like our planes over there one bit. Almost started a war over that, remember? This guy did a nice job stabilizing. Big shout out to someone's technique.
Önünde bir şey oldu yani. Ağır gidiyor ama farkında mısın? He?
This is a different day.
Evet.
Different day. Like, because in some of the shots, you can almost see the colors. That looks like the Enterprise. That looks like the Enterprise. But it's probably not the Enterprise. Brett says, do those occupants look like that EBA alien interview? Yes, they do. Yeah, that's pretty good. He's got decent focus there. Yeah, Chris Continuum thinks it's the cruise ship. I've seen that analysis, and we could take a look at that if you want to. And it's close. Kobe says, nah, that's fake as hell. Okay, man. Sauce it up. You know, I'm not trying to convince you. I just like looking at fun stuff. So sauce it up, drop it in the chat, and I'll go over it. Jen says, probably not the Enterprise, but AJ leaves room for argument. Of course, got to keep an open mind. Could be the Enterprise. All right, August 24th. And now, and to those that are saying that it's the cruise ship and all those other arguments, look at, you know, I hear you, because I've looked at those videos and they do make sense with some of the shots, but we have a lot of different angles. We've got different configurations of the vehicle, and we have different witnesses. So I believe that the one where you can see the aliens kind of looks like that. Let's go back to the analysis for a little bit, some considerations. To be honest, at the beginning, my idea was to analyze the videos, hoping to find some elements in them that would be evidence of a possible fraud, taking into account the spectacular manner in which the case was labeled. Announced that for the very first time, a UFO was videotaped with its occupants precisely inside one of the objects, not a minor issue for those of us who are obsessed with these themes. It was from skepticism, and why not say it with a quote of prejudgment. I decided to take some time to check out the fragments of the movie. You could say that my expectations were to find the string of the puppet. So I'm the same way. You know, so I look at it, it's like, all right, my gut reaction is that's fake, but it's awesome. So it's fake and awesome. So let's go and find out how they did it. You know, let's debunk it. And so we can say, and so we can move on with our lives. But all the theories to debunk it, some of them are pretty close. The reflection of the lens works with some of the shots. The reflection of the cruise ship in the distance causing like a mirage works with some of them, but not all of them. To make the analysis, I used electronic copies of the original videos given to me by the Turkish investigator who picked up the case first-handed. I met with the investigator personally to comment on about this incident, and I was very grateful of him handing me a copy of the original tape with which I could accomplish this work. The analysis will be exposed in a chronological and sequential way, in the same order that the research and results came. Finally, what I present here is only a portion of all that was extracted from the videos and from the image analysis. It's a lot of material, and when the moment comes, I will complete this publication with more findings. And we'll get back to that in just a moment. So where are we? We're still in August. Oh, now we're in the following summer. This is the following summer, June 6th. Rottweiler, can you do video on the Antarctica? I've covered a little bit with Operation High Jump, but we do have some more to cover. John Pearson, not trusting the Turkish investigator. That's fair, but Americans and we got to at least trust Japanese investigators. We don't have to trust American, Turkish, or Russian. Is this the one where we see the pilots? I think it is. And we'll see some close-ups later. Yeah, And we'll see close-ups later of the pilots. Yeah, this was that bright one. This is a good one.
Bu ne abi?
All right, so remember this location has been authenticated. The following night,
Abi girdi mi? Şu büyük yıldız olabilir falan. Onun yanında geçiyor. Çok ağır gidiyor. Karanlık yok biraz sonra geçiyor.
I'll leave that on. I'll read some of this analysis. First appreciations related to the videos. There's always a first impression, and it even can be subjective and, by the way, preliminary. At first look, it called my attention to the honesty of the takes. That is, you can't observe any kind of tendency or intention of hiding something. It is clear that the film man does everything possible to configure his camera in the best way to capture the objects. He makes constant changes in light entry and zoom, trying to show as clearly as possible what's happening while he films. He also worries on registering different reference points and at the same time making very powerful close-ups. Yeah, so we see so that's why he's doing the kind of the zoom outs on the piers. He's establishing, here's where I am,
Nerede abi?
and then zooms in from there. After my first look at the image, film grain, illumination, close-ups, and reference points, also audio, ambient sound, narration, and witness attitude, agrees totally with an authentic recording of objects at a great distance filmed at nighttime, the ones used in this work. There are also daytime recordings with interesting details, but the analysis will only be the night ones. Having these observations in account, plus the reports from the scientific committee and the opinion of Professor Atenas, I'm willing to do and expose the following graphic analysis. His writing's a little clunky because I think this was translated from Spanish. The beginning of the analysis and the first obtained photograms. As I mentioned before, the objective of this review is to find elements that would reveal a fraud or a setup in the sequences of the video. For this, I realized an exhaustive observation of the images with a considerable close-up and frame-by-frame process. The video segments used in this part correspond to the June 8th, 2008 and May 13th, 2009 dates, 1 and 2. I don't know if he gives us close-ups there. Given that the most spectacular aspects of the case rest on the alleged presence of UFO occupants in the footage, the observation point was centered primarily in the center zone of the object. That's where, according to the witnesses, there was someone, what has been interpreted as the occupants or crew. In summary, the records of the case indicate that in the center of the object would be found some type of door or window that at times remains opened, and from where it's possible to see two heads, which would correspond to the slippery occupants. A short time after reviewing, I could observe a couple of photograms that caused me strangeness and amazement. My first reaction was to say, bingo, here is something. After a second view of the fragment, I was able to isolate a sequence that seems, to say the least, interesting. Not just because of the clarity of the takes, but also because the investigation started to turn more complex from the point of view of the different explanation theories possible. In fact, at this point, a series of questions appear that later I will comment on. In concrete, the sequence shows with the acceptable clarity the moment in which one of the figures, apparently a humanoid characteristics, raises, then looks, and remains for a fraction of time looking right at the front. The appearance is that of a head with two relatively big and dark eyes. Also, it's possible to interpret what part of the body of the figure is left to see. All right, so I'm going to give you a closer look at it. I just want to see if he has it. See if this will let me zoom. All right, so I don't know if you can see, but people are saying that these are two aliens in there, and you can see the guy on our right, his left, kind of looking around. There's that one frame where you could really see his eyes, like this. I don't know. Can you see that? So there's that look, and then there's other angles where we have this look. He asks, are there more than one? In this point of the analysis, it seems to me clear the questions about if there are two figures with these characteristics that appear in the videos. For this, I focused the analysis on the left zone. The idea is to find out if it's possible to find in that zone an image similar to the previously exposed. Does he say what date these are? Because I'll pull it up here. You know what? Let me run this for you, and I'll see if I can find it in this other tab. Found it. All right. All right. This is the video with some commentary from Dr. Lear, who was there. I'll just play this in full, but I haven't really heard it yet. So if it's annoying, I apologize. In 2007, a night guard in Turkey captured some of the best UFO footage ever recorded. He certainly did. All right, so not stabilized. So this is June 22nd, 2007. I'm going to write that down. The documentation continued the following year when UFOs returned to the Sea of Marmara near Kumburgaz. June 8th, 2008.
Nerede? Işık da bu tarafa gidiyor. Ciddi söylüyorum, ışık bir tarafa gidiyor.
Reports of the UFO sighting spread all throughout the Turkish media. Kumbrugaz UFOs, and then those are words. The UFOs returned once again in 2009, and Dr. Roger Lear was fortunate enough to be behind the camera. Here's Mike Barra. The Turkey video was incredible. I knew Dr. Lear, and he did not make it up, says Mike. And yet they concluded that every aspect of the footage was in fact genuine. This is not a hoax. Well, don't tell us it's not a hoax. It's just... The following is an excerpt from Dr. Lear's presentation at the 2010 Ventura County UFO Festival in Ventura, California.
There was a bright full moon, and below the moon was this little bright spot. We didn't know what it was. And we were filming out over the water. There was...
What's with the Saul Goodman phone while he's doing his talk? Take that out.
No structures in the water. There was no oil platforms. There was no ships going by. And we zoomed in. This camera had a 200 millimeter lens and an electronic doubler. So we were able to get very tight on the leading edge of the craft. The craft, you have to realize, is being lit by the moonlight, which is, as I said, a very bright moon. And then right in the front of the craft, there appeared to be 3 windows, viewing ports, whatever you want to call them. And standing in these viewing ports were typical bumper sticker gray aliens. And I saw this. I mean, I looked through the camera myself, and unfortunately we recorded it. That video went to a university in Istanbul and went over extremely intense scrutiny by the Turkish government, and then the video was also sent to the UK and several other countries for analysis. By the time all that had been done, it had already been on the internet and could absolutely not be suppressed from the public. Recently, this year, the video was given to a analyst in Chile, and he did another review of the film, but this time, instead of concentrating on the craft,
does the dog know something's up?
Lower
right frame
of the film, but this time, instead of... And he did another review of the film, but this time...
Dogs know there's aliens. Dogs know aliens.
Instead of concentrating on the craft, he concentrated on the occupants. And on my website, Alien Scout...
So the lights match up.
He concentrated...
I guess they match up. Yeah, they match up pretty well. I'm just checking the chat to see if our custom cat says, no, it's fake. Time after time, he would never once lay the camera on something to keep it steady. I don't think he could, custom cats, not from where he was on that, kind of on the beach. And, you know, he's using a kind of a big camera. He's using a big camera with a zoom. I mean, if you kind of got to get the shot. You can't put it like on the rail and then what, you look for a book or something because you got to aim it up. I mean, I know what you're saying. Like, dude, get a tripod. It's been happening for years. Can you get a tripod? But I think without a tripod, I don't fault the guy for being shaky. Andrew Zach, what I missed? What's with the aliens and dogs? We're looking at this crazy these UFO videos, and I feel like the dogs know.
Traded on the occupants.
Right, dogs always
and on
know
my
aliens.
website, alienscalpel.com, you'll see the entire Chilean analysis.
For more information, visit seriesufo.org. Here's that footage stabilized. The analysis he's talking about is what I was reading to you. It's June 12th, 2008. So this is, that's one of the shots that I've seen debunkers saying it's a reflection of the lens. And I've seen the comparisons. Maybe I can call one up for you. And it's fair. It looks pretty close. But in that one video, for just a few frames, we see that alien head move. You know, it looks like it's moving. So if it's a reflection of a lens or if it's a cruise ship in the distance, what's moving on those objects inside of it?
Işık gidiyor bir yana. Bak. Duruyor bu. Yemin duruyor.
The Chilean analysis Dr. Lear is talking about. Here you can appreciate the left side of the figure exposed before that we find another one of similar characteristics of equal proportion and in a position slightly inclined down. They are clearly visible, the form of the head and both dark eyes, absolutely symmetrical form. I agree. You know, when it's enhanced, and it doesn't look like it's enhanced anything beyond just zooming. You know, maybe there's some contrast enhanced here, but I don't think too much. But you can clearly see there's eyes. You can even see nose, mouth, and he's mentioning that the proportions of the two beings, the heads they're the same proportions. Something is moving in the first plane. As I indicated previously, while analyzing the first sequence of stills, the following detail raised my attention. Something moves in the first plane, almost in front of the figure in study. To try to solve this questioning, I returned to check the complete video at different speeds and levels of close-ups, centering the observation only on this zone. On figure 11, you can check the sequence of video and identify the zone to which I refer. Oh, pardon me, that's not professional.
As far as live streams go, this one is terrible.
Well, then after checking the videos at different configurations of reproduction, I've come to a strange enough and complex conclusion of explaining without showing simultaneously the fragments of video, which is difficult to do for this way. Okay, nevertheless, I will try to do it by means of isolated. All right. What moves in front of the figures that we saw previously seems to be a third figure. This one has characteristics different from the previous ones. It's a figure with an insectoid aspect in its form and movements. It had to describe it classified somehow. I would say it looks very close to a praying mantis. It has a brown color. His head is not so big as the previous ones and is of triangular form. It has two very big and dark eyes located to the sides of the head and in ascending form. It seems to have a long neck and a very thin body. On having checked carefully the videos, it is possible to distinguish his arms stretching in a similar way that the mantis does. His position on the scene is of, let me get these. This is what he's talking about. He's got little stick figure outlines of this mantis. I mean, this kind of thing's a stretch for me. I think I would need to see it. I definitely see the alien, the grays. I see that. But if you didn't know we were looking for aliens, would you see it off the top of your head? In these stills, I show the location of the figure in the top part. The low-end interpretation is in drawing.
Bak 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 ışık da bu tarafa gidiyor. Ciddi söylüyorum ışık.
612. That's the lights. 4 days later. So there's his reference. And July 2nd. I mean, this is a crazy one. Okay, so for the lens issue, this is what they're talking about. That it's a reflection from the lens, and you can see these different ridges that are inside the lens and how it would make that shape. All right, Mike West, we got it. So it's close, but $5 Shadow thinks it's government secret planes. I don't know. Do they have aliens? Lot Macos photobombing mantis. Which is this one? That's what we've seen. My French isn't strong enough to get this for you. He's asking if they see people in there. Yeah, I think we see people in there. I guess if I wasn't looking for aliens, this would still look like an alien to me. Up here, probably not. But man, that looks like an alien. Here we got some close-ups of different parts on the ship. But this site that I'm on, he's trying to debunk it. And look, is this what this is? Is it just a reflection of a lens? In 35, 40 different shots at different times of day. I don't know, man. Like, I almost want it to be. I almost want the explanation, because then we can move on with our lives. But I don't think this is it. Here is the cruise ship. Where some people think it's windows of a cruise ship. I don't know about that. There's his excellent beard. All right, let's go back to this one. Stabilize footage. All right, I found that report from the scientific group, Scientific and Technology Research Board of Turkey. I found the report. I'm not going to read it to you, but it's basically saying we can't figure it out. They're saying it's legit. Some conclusions up to this part of the analysis. As the slogan, the title of this work, this one is graphical analysis. That is to say, it's based strictly on the images and tries to give clarity and respect to the information that the camera achieved to catch the videos. In this respect, I try to be rigorous, not do any like I said, this is translation from Spanish, so it's a little clunky. All right, obviously that in the course of the investigation, I find elements that could solve the case with some conventional explanation, thing that up to the moment has not happened. Okay. I also have not found reports or investigations of organisms, not of particular investigators, who give conventional and convincing explanation in the matter. In the final conclusions, I will explain why I underline this, the graphical analysis, and my caution in doing affirmations on the origin of what appears in the videos. That's the July 4th. Scrub a little forward there. Another light configuration, but those look like reflections. Carrie Winter, brutal. Wife ran off with the investigator. Yeah. Poor Woody. Mrs. Derenberger ran off. I think his name was Bill Lalonde, was the investigator. And what's crazy and so heartbreaking is Woody Derenberger thanks him in his book. As one of the investigators, he thanks him. I don't know. Maybe she was. Maybe he's. Thank God. Thanks for taking her off my hands. Oh my Volta. She was driving me nuts. Thanks, Bill. I have an investigator coming over. He wants to meet you. He's very handsome. He wants to take you out for dancing in a movie. It's fine.
It's fine.
All right, we've got a little more stabilized footage here. Let me catch up with a few super chats while that rolls. Unknown user for $5. Thank you for that. I'm a Wyvian. He's a Wyvian. She's a Wyvian. We are Wyvians. Wouldn't you like to be a Wyvian too? I like it. It sounds like
Wyvians. I was trying to make it fit with the Dr. Pepper song, but
did it work? There's John Hobart. Thank you for the $9.99.
Ooh, thank you, human. You made my dorsal fin tingle.
Debunking these stories all the time is like me inflating my brand new blow-up doll. And AJ runs in, pokes a hole in it, and runs out laughing with his middle fingers up. Love you, handsome bastard. Why are you laughing at? Because you could picture it?
yes. And I can see you just backing out of the room.
I would never damage someone's blow-up doll.
She's trying to eat.
Oh, is that what she's doing?
Yeah.
Is Velvet Jones, thank you for 1999. An episode about missing YouTubers may be interesting. It's on my list, Velvet, to do that. I'm just worried about the algorithm. You know, I try not to do stories where there's a victim, because there's some crazy missing YouTuber stories. Off the top of my head, remember that one? Maybe Gino knows the girl who would eat food in her YouTube channel, and people think that she was like a slave. I forget. It's just from memory.
I only know about that much of the story, but the one that drives me crazy is the guy who went looking for the M-shaped cave.
That's Kenny Beach. Kenny Beach. Yeah, we're gonna do that story. And Jen, if that's not on the list, make sure it is. Kenny Beach in the M Cave. I told the story last week. But yeah, Velvet, there's a few, there's the one I'm talking about. Zab Girl. I'm trying to see if anyone in the chat remembers her. She would eat food. Yeah, she would eat food on her channel, and then there were some videos where she was looking off screen, it seemed like someone was making her do it, like she was a slave.
Or a good manager.
Was it? She ate a lot of food.
Yes.
Yeah, those are mukbang videos. That's a big Asian YouTuber thing.
Taco Tuesday genital warts. I don't know if it was her. I don't know if I remember her name.
I
If you
think
said it.
there's a.
Is that
I think
Francis? No, it's not Lonely Girl.
the one that they just mentioned, I think, was an Asian singer that disappeared.
Yep, I'm talking about someone else. But there are a few good ones. But what I was saying, Velvet, is when there's victims involved and stuff like, she's a slave, she's abducted, it's not good for the algorithm. But those are stories that we could do on the What Files, which is going to be true crime.
That would be a
That'd be
a good series of episodes.
It'd be a good What Files.
Yeah.
To put over there. And I reached out to the YouTube partner manager who specializes in the big true crime channel. So hopefully we can get some help there to make sure that we can keep these videos coming. All right. There they go. There's Joe P, the official beard of the Y-Files. Another great episode tonight. Fascinating stuff. Funny note, YouTube live caption translated Raptor Gino into Raptor Gino. All right, there he goes. Raptor Gino. This needs to be a thing. Raptor Gino coffee or beer. When is Hecklefish's album going to drop? Yeah, I think we have to do a Raptor Gino shirt. There's Jesus. Good to see you. Hey, I'm going to send you an email with the subject titled Hidden Held by the Few. Look for it. It is time to break the lid off all of this. All right, that's intriguing. Send it over, Jesus. There's Vincent. Thank you for the $4.99.
Booyah! That's the stuff.
Are the Patreon live streams able to be watched at a later time day for Patreon members? If not, could you make that a feature? No, you can't watch those later, primarily because other people are on there with us. So it's Patreon members come up on camera. So just for everybody's privacy, we don't record those. We could, and maybe we can figure that out at some point. But for now, since members are up there on their camera, we don't save those. But you should still join, Vincent. There's Frank Herbert again. Thank you for the $19.99. Never bothered with the live shows or chats before this. Hell, I never even donated to my own brother's Twitch. Well, too bad for him, man. I appreciate your support. Couldn't do this without you. Yeah, this is a good one with the lights. It's a pretty good lens for 2009. Will Mac, love tonight's episode. Request Elisa Lam and the Cecil Hotel for the next episode. We're not going to do that. We'd have to do that on the What Files for Elisa Lam, since she was a victim because her body was found in the water tank. But it's a great story. It's one of my favorites, and I can debunk that. Not debunk it, but I can explain how she ended up in there, because there's a whole nother side of the story that the true crime people don't cover. There's a whole other side of that story. Wait.
I didn't know that.
You didn't know it's explainable. It's 100% explainable how she got in there. Yeah. Because there are other angles to the top of the hotel. I'm going to spoil it now for the 12,000 watching. There's other angles to the top of the hotel that are hard to find unless you're specifically looking for them. And once you have them, it ruins the magic of the story. So the true crime YouTubers don't do that, but we do.
Cool.
So yeah, there was that water tower, right, where her body was found in the water tower, and the story is, how did she get up there? There's no way she can climb up there, but the water tower was actually next to the roof of the building that was the same height, and the roof of that building, there's stairs going down to the back door at the top of the hotel. She just walked up there and just stepped over and slipped in.
Are you kidding?
I'm sorry. And then decomposed, and the water turned brown in the Cecil Hotel. That's why they knew she was missing, is the water tasted funny.
Yeah.
Corpse water.
Yeah.
That corpse water.
And it was Kate Yupp that was the mukbang girl, and she still makes them. She makes a video 3 weeks ago.
Oh, she's not. She hasn't been disappeared yet.
No, she's still there.
G Rim is back. A tip for the Heathcliff fish. Thanks, man. Appreciate that. John Mangino, $50.
I get pretty freaky. He's a super freak. Like kind of fish you dream about. You got freaky dreams. I get pretty kinky. He's a super freak. But only if you pay me. Gotta pay the fish. I need a tip. I need a tip. I need a tip from you. And you. And you, human. You and you and you. Hit the super chat. Hit the button now.
Like it.
That's a good one.
And Foolish Francis, thank you for the $5. Loved the videos and watched every single one, but is it wrong to love After Files even more? Yes, that is wrong, because this is not a professional operation.
Yikes. You call this a live stream? How are you not embarrassed?
Don't delete J2J's comment yet, because
I'm not gonna.
we're going to give him rushes. Indra Chill from 1982. Thank you for that. That happens to be the year of my birth.
Holy mackerel. You see what I did there? Thanks for dropping a couple of shekels on me, human.
Playing. Did I just break wind? Or Jenny broke wind?
No, that's not what I was laughing about.
It's okay. Just say excuse me and move on. Playing Rush always gets a tip. Great episode. Yeah, I mean that Tom Sawyer is my favorite, but Rush has a lot of good ones. Laughs. I will always tip Hecklefish for Rush songs. All right, so I guess Rush was a hit. So what do you think about the Turkish UFO? Legit?
I think it's a craft of some sort. I think it's probably a secret test craft.
Secret test craft?
Craft of some sort. But.
And Gino, you've seen this one, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's as legit as I think we could get. I mean, it's over multiple days, so you could say a smudge on the lens or water. How could it be over several days, the same smudge? That's just not how a camera would work,
Now I just hear Morty screaming smudge on the lens. A smudge on the lens. Remember when the smudge on the lens with Morty?
Yeah. What was that?
America, 1982. You are a baby, AJ. Was walking to the bus, passing Tool. Oh, you passed Maynard. Maynard catching the bus. Love some Tool Maynard. Yeah, 1982, the year of my birth.
Out!
Wait, says Marcella. Wait, I was born in 82, and I don't believe you are as I 40, 41. How dare you?
How dare you?
How dare you? What's the matter with you?
Victoria's dog doesn't believe it either.
J2J, $50 says Rush rocks. Woo!
A modern day goldfish lives in style, but you haven't tipped in quite a while.
Neil Peart.
My money is all spent. You haven't tipped a cent. I gotta pay my rent, or I'll be living in a tent in Portland.
Hey, tell me, did someone go on Grubhub and order crazy? I think your delivery is here.